Chapter 2 of this series. Have you ever wondered how your own mind truly works? Do you even want to know? What if was to bring you your most heartfelt of desires? It's not as mysterious as you might think. You have a mind, and learning how to use it is the most powerful skill you can ever develop. Think of your mind as having two levels. First, there's the conscious, rational level. This is the part you're using right now to think, analyze, make choices like deciding what to have for dinner or which video to watch next. It's your captain, the one at the helm. But beneath the surface, there's the subconscious, or irrational level. This is the powerhouse, the engine room. Whatever you habitually think with your conscious mind sinks down into your subconscious. Here's the magic. Your subconscious mind is the creative mind. It takes your dominant thoughts and turns them into your reality. It doesn't argue or question. It's like fertile soil. You plant seeds of good thoughts, you'll reap a harvest of good experiences. If you plant seeds of negativity, well, you'll see that reflected in your life too. This is the fundamental law of your mind. Once your subconscious accepts an idea, it starts working immediately to make it happen. And it doesn't care if the idea is good or bad. This is crucial to understand. I know. It took me a long time to grasp this. It works on both with equal efficiency. It will not judge you for what you ask for. It will just bring it to you. Here's where this quote comes into play. Never spend more than 10% of your time on the problem, and always spend at least 90% of your time on the solution. This is why negative thinking can lead to failure, frustration, and unhappiness. But the flip side is incredibly exciting. When you fill your mind with harmonious, constructive thoughts, you naturally move toward perfect health, success, and prosperity. Peace of mind and a healthy body become your default state. So, whatever you claim mentally and feel is true, your subconscious will accept it and bring forth into your experience. This is why one should not take in destructive messages that are being shared around the world on social media right now. These negative videos are costing you your future. All you have to do is get your subconscious to accept your idea. Give the command and your subconscious will faithfully get to work. It draws on an infinite power and wisdom within you, even lining up the laws of nature to achieve its goal. Sometimes the solution appears instantly. Other times it might take days or weeks or even years. Its ways are beyond our full understanding. Although from what I know now, it will depend on your beliefs. But more important, what you are feeling. In other words, the frequency you emit to the universe about what you believe. Now, it's important to remember that the conscious and subconscious aren't two separate minds. They're just two different functions within one mind. Your conscious mind is the reasoning mind. It's the part that chooses your books, your home, your friends, your soulmate, your riches, your car, your job, and so much more. You make all your decisions with it, but then it is your subconscious mind which handles everything else without you even thinking about it. This simply means every thought you think in the present moment entered the subconscious, and from there, it becomes a belief and then a habit. Your heart keeps beating, your food digests, and you keep breathing, all thanks to your subconscious, operating independently of your conscious control. It simply accepts what's impressed upon it. It's not there to debate with you. It's like a sponge. If you tell it something is true, it believes you, no questions asked. Think of it like a computer's operating system. It just runs the programs you install. This has been proven time and again in psychological experiments. Under hypnosis, a person's subconscious is wide open to suggestion. A hypnotist can suggest that someone is a cat, and they'll start acting like one. They can suggest that a person is freezing cold, and that person will experience it as reality. Completely unaware of their actual surroundings, this clearly shows the difference between your conscious, reasoning mind and your subconscious, which is non-selective and accepts whatever your conscious mind believes. That's why it's so crucial to choose thoughts that heal, inspire, and fill you with joy. Again, use 90% of your time finding solutions. We can also think of these two parts of the mind as the objective and subjective mind. Your conscious mind is the objective mind because it deals with the outside world through your five senses. You see, hear, touch, taste, and smell your environment, and you use this data to reason. If you visit a city and see beautiful parks and buildings, your objective mind concludes it's a beautiful city. Your subconscious mind is the subjective mind. It perceives the world through intuition, independent of the five senses. It's the seat of your emotions and the vast storehouse of your memory. The subjective mind is most active when your objective senses are quiet, like when you're sleepy or drowsy. I've used this time for 40 years now to program, or should I say reprogram, my mind when I sleep. Imagine a 90-year-old sleeps approximately 262,980 hours in his or her lifetime. Wow, so why not program your mind to create your destiny? MP3s was my choice of inserting positive messages in my subconscious mind. Once I started doing this, the source of my gut feelings was more attuned. My confidence improved, my self-esteem went up, my memory improved. I started seeing clearer on what I needed to act upon, and much more. And that uncanny ability to just know things. It can even tap into the thoughts of others. Understanding how these two minds interact is the real key to unlocking your potential. A critical point is that your subconscious cannot argue. If you feed it wrong suggestions, it accepts them as true and brings them to life as your experiences. Read that again. If you feed it wrong suggestions, it accepts them as true and brings them to life as your experiences. If you need to understand this fully, then stop this video now and ponder on this until you get it. It's that important. Everything that has ever happened to you is based on thoughts impressed upon your subconscious through belief. That's why I believe I was an alcoholic for so darn long. Some even say once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. Hogwash. I stopped saying that long ago. But here's the good news. If you've been feeding it negative concepts, you can change them immediately. It does not take months or years. The speed at which this happens is when you decide it will happen, not when someone else decides for you. The solution is simple. Repetition of constructive, harmonious thoughts. Your subconscious is the seat of habit, and just as you can form bad habits, you can form new healthy ones. If your habitual thoughts are peaceful and positive, you'll create deep grooves of success and well-being in your subconscious. If you've been stuck in fear or worry, the remedy is to recognize the power of your subconscious and decree freedom, happiness, and health for yourself. Have you heard of the 3 Ds? Decisions determines destiny. Your creative subconscious, connected to your inner power, will then begin to create the very freedom and happiness you've asked for. This brings us to the tremendous power of suggestion. Your conscious mind is the watchman at the gate. Its main job is to protect your subconscious from false impressions. As we've seen, your subconscious is highly suggestible. It doesn't analyze, it just reacts. So be careful of what you feed it, meaning what you watch, listen to, or read. Here's a classic example. Imagine you're on a ship and you tell a nervous-looking passenger, "You look really pale. I bet you're about to get seasick." That suggestion connects with their own fear of seasickness. They accept it, and soon enough, your negative suggestion becomes their reality. But what if you said the same thing to an experienced sailor? He'd probably just laugh it off. Why? Because the suggestion of seasickness is associated in his mind with his immunity to it. It triggers confidence, not fear. This shows that a suggestion has no power in itself. It only has power if you mentally accept it. Did you grasp that? Only if you mentally accept it. We all have our own inner fears and beliefs, and these are what govern our lives. I am still working on some of mine. I do not pretend to be a complete invincible guy. But what I felt important for me to live life more joyfully, I have attained. From the moment we're born, we're bombarded with negative suggestions. It's unbelievable. And with smartphones in every hand today, it is way more challenging to completely eradicate this. And start the negative barrage of words. It's like you can't do that. You'll never amount to anything. You'll fail. Without knowing how, we often unconsciously accept them. Things are getting worse. Life is just an endless grind. You can't win. Sound familiar? Once I understood this, I was able to conquer my dreams of becoming a bestseller, creating a healing documentary with a healer, write my ebook, become a leader in a union environment, and so much more. You must make sure to only give your subconscious suggestions that he'll bless, elevate, and inspire you. That means you should walk away from listening to videos that are not aligned with who you are. Again, do something that will bring you joy. If it is destructive, it is not about joy. Social media algorithm will always bring you more stuff in which you are aligned with or not aligned with who you are, if you let it. The choice is yours and only yours. It will help to move you towards your purpose and your destiny, so keep choosing empowering videos instead. And be careful with your words, because your subconscious doesn't get jokes. It takes you at your word, literally. Joseph Murphy tells a story of a father who repeatedly said, "I'd give my right arm to see my daughter cured of a terrible illness." One day they were in a car accident, and his right arm was torn off. At that exact moment, his daughter's illness vanished. A dramatic story, but it illustrates a powerful point. Love cures people, both the ones who give it and the ones who receive it, by Karl Menninger, American psychiatrist. So how do we use this power for good? Through autosuggestion, which means suggesting something specific to yourself. You can use it to overcome fears and negative conditions. For example, a talented singer kept failing auditions because she was crippled by stage fright. She would tell herself, "They won't like me. I'm full of fear." Her subconscious took this as a command and delivered that experience. She turned it around with a simple technique. 3 times a day, she sat quietly, relaxed her body, and closed her eyes. Then she repeated slowly and with feeling, "I sing beautifully. I am poised, serene, confident, and calm." After just a week, she was completely confident and gave a wonderful audition. If you've watched American Idol, you see people all the time who have a dream, and by doing what they fear the most, they end seeing it's where they should be all along. It works for memory in any imagined scenario you could possibly think of. Your imagination is endless. Some things aren't even invented yet. We are limitless. Subconscious reconditioning experiment in Florida, while training to send astronauts into space. They wanted to find out the long-term effects of disorientation upon the human brain, mind, and body. Astronauts were asked to wear convex glasses that turned everything they saw upside down. NASA then asked them to perform their normally everyday routine for a couple of weeks, just like they were in space. The concept was to test if they could stay healthy and not fall ill. After 3 to 4 weeks, their brains started to return their visual world right side up again. It took a minimum of 21 days for the mind and body to return to accepting their existing positive beliefs. This data proves for change to happen. One must allow for a time frame of minimum 21 days to see a habit being broken, a belief being accepted, or the subconscious mind being programmed for new patterns to emerge. You can even overcome a bad temper by repeating affirmations like, "Joy, happiness, and cheerfulness are now my normal state of mind. I am becoming more lovable and understanding every day." You can literally rewire your personality. You need to commit to doing this if you are to attain your desires. The constructive and destructive power of suggestion. Now here's a huge one. Suggestions from others around you. Again, what you see, read, hear, or watch. We all have heard suggestions from people around us. It does not make them true. I'm just saying, be very careful what you believe, as it will change the trajectory of where you are heading. The power of suggestion has played a part in the life and thought of man in every period of time and in each country of the earth. In many parts of the world, it is the controlling power in religion that is a huge topic, but I will not get into it here. Suggestion may be used to discipline and control ourselves, but it can also be used to take control and command over others who do not know the laws of mind. In its constructive form, it is wonderful and magnificent. In its negative aspects, it is one of the most destructive of all the response patterns of the mind, resulting in patterns of misery, failure, suffering, sickness, and disaster. Have you accepted any of these? I have for decades. From infancy on, the majority of us have been given many negative suggestions. Not knowing how to process them, we unconsciously accepted them. Here are some of the negative suggestions. You can't. You'll never amount to anything. You mustn't. You'll fail. You haven't got a chance. You're all wrong. It's no use. It's not what you know. But who you know, the world is going to the dogs. What's the use? Nobody cares. It's no use trying so hard. You're too old now. Things are getting worse and worse. Okay, now imagine this. In a 90-year-old's lifetime, we hear between 20,000 and 30,000 words each day. I can just guess the significant number of negative words we hear in that time, which can have profound emotional and psychological effects. Studies indicate that 96% of people believe they are good listeners, yet they often retain only half of what is said. Less as an adult, you use constructive autosuggestion, which is a reconditioning therapy, also called self-hypnosis, talking positively to yourself. The impressions made on you in the past can cause behavior patterns that cause failure in your personal and social life. Autosuggestion is a means releasing you from the mass of negative verbal conditioning that might otherwise distort your life pattern, making the development of good habits difficult. Friends who might not understand what you are watching here are often influencers towards their ways of doing things. You can counteract negative suggestions super easy, though you must be aware and conscious you can do so at any time. No one outside of you, not even the government, is to blame for what happens to us. We always have the choice. Pick up the paper any day, and you can read dozens of items that could sow the seeds of futility, fear, worry, anxiety, and impending doom. The media was put in place to do exactly that. So, stay away from it. How often do you hear good news on the TV medias? If accepted by you, these thoughts of fear could even cause you to lose the will for life. Knowing that, you can reject all these negative suggestions by giving your subconscious mind constructive autosuggestions. You counteract all these destructive ideas by making a 1-degree shift. Check regularly on the negative suggestions that people make to you. You do not have to be influenced by other people's destructive suggestions. All of us have suffered from it in our childhood and in our teens. If you look back, you can easily recall how parents, friends, relatives, teachers, and associates contributed in a campaign of negative suggestions, although not by spite but more by ignorance of not knowing any better. Study the things said to you, and you will discover much of it was in the form of propaganda. The purpose of much of what was said was to control you or instill fear into you. Look, I'll speak for myself and where I'm at in today's 2025 world. I know many influencers who share incredible, seemingly well-researched facts about corruption in all unimaginable association, including government, and I do read some of their articles from time to time, just to see what they are creating. But here's the caveat for me. I believe at times they might be right, although I also believe they are wrong in what they share day in, day out. I also see what is going on in the world, although I personally choose to put forth positive energy and actions to better society's healing instead. Solutions, not just what's not right. I feel that talking about this negative, heavy topics and stuff propagates itself even further to stay in our world even longer than it needs to. You know, like wars create more wars. Love reciprocates more love. The law of giving and receiving. I'm spending way more time on creating a different world. A world separate from this world. A new earth, if you will. Dolores Cannon once described this event as this earth is separating or splitting because you are consciously desiring to be on a new earth filled with peace, joy, and harmony. If you want to stay on this negative, destructive earth, you will. The shift to a new earth will be subtle. You won't even notice it will happen. I see it her way, although that's another conversation for another day. Now, these negative friend suggestions go on in every home, office, factories, and club. We'll find that many of these suggestions are for the purpose of making you think, feel, and act as others want you to, and in ways that are to their advantage. Now let us look on how a simple suggestion took a man's life. How is that even possible? Here is an illustration of a suggestion from another person. Joseph Murphy tells the story. A relative of mine went to a crystal gazer in India who told him that he had a bad heart and predicted that he would die at the next new moon. He began to tell all members of his family about this prediction, and he arranged his will. This powerful suggestion entered into his subconscious mind because he accepted it completely. My relative also told me that this crystal gazer was believed to have some strange occult powers, and he could do harm or good to a person. He died as predicted, not knowing that he was the cause of his own death. I suppose many of us have heard similar crazy and off-the-wall superstitious stories like this before, but don't really believe them. Let us look at what happened in the light of our knowledge of the way the subconscious mind works. Whatever the conscious reasoning mind of man believes, the subconscious mind will accept and act upon. My relative was happy, healthy, vigorous, and robust when he went to see the fortune teller. She gave him a very negative suggestion, which he accepted. He became terrified and constantly dwelt upon the fact that he was going to die at the next new moon. He proceeded to tell everyone about it, and he prepared for the end. The activity took place in his own mind, and his own thought was the cause. He brought about his own so-called death, or rather destruction of the physical body, by his fear and expectation of the end. I have actually seen this with a very close friend of mine, in which he never stopped saying he would die young, because that was part of his family's genetics. Sadly, his wish was granted. The woman who predicted his death had no more power than the stones and sticks in the field. Her suggestion had no power to create or bring about the end, she suggested. If he had known the laws of his mind, he would have completely rejected the negative suggestion and refused to give her words any attention, knowing in his heart that he was governed and controlled by his own thought and feeling. Like tin arrows aimed at a battleship, her prophecy could have been completely neutralized and dissipated without hurting him. The suggestions of others and themselves have absolutely no power or whatever over you, except the power that you give them through your own thoughts. You have to give your mental consent. You have to entertain the thought. Then it becomes your thought, and you do the thinking. Remember, you have the capacity to choose. Choose life. Choose love. Choose health. Too funny, as I'm editing this video, my wife just came over to give me a heartfelt hug. How's that for the universe bringing me the message of feeling loved? Nice. The power of an assumed major premise. And this means that whatever major premise your conscious mind assumes to be true determines the conclusion your subconscious mind comes to in regard to any particular question or problem in your mind. If your premise is true, the conclusion must be true, as in the following example. Every virtue is laudable. Kindness is a virtue. Therefore, kindness is laudable. Joseph Murphy tells this story. One day that a college professor who attended some of my Science of Mind lectures in May 1962 at Town Hall, New York, said to me, "Everything in my life is upside down, and I have lost health, wealth, and friends. Everything I touch turns out wrong." I explained to him that he should establish a major premise in his thinking, that the infinite intelligence of his subconscious mind was guiding, directing, and prospering him spiritually, mentally, and materially. Then his subconscious mind would automatically direct him wisely in his investments, decisions, and also heal his body and restore his mind to peace and tranquility. This professor formulated an overall picture of the way he wanted his life to be, and this was his major premise. Infinite intelligence leads and guides me in all my ways. Perfect health is mine, and the law of harmony operates in my mind and body. Beauty, love, peace, and abundance are mine. The principle of right action and divine order govern my entire life. I know my major premise is based on the eternal truths of life, and I know, feel, and believe that my subconscious mind responds according to the nature of my conscious mind thinking. He wrote me as follows. I repeated the above statements slowly, quietly, and lovingly, several times a day, knowing that they were sinking deep down into my subconscious mind, and that results must follow. I am deeply grateful for the interview you gave me, and I would like to add that all departments of my life are changing for the better. It works. The subconscious does not argue controversially. Your subconscious mind is always and knows the answers to all questions. It does not argue with you or talk back to you. It does not say, "You must not impress me with that." For example, when you say, "I can't do this. I am too old now. I can't meet this obligation. I was born on the wrong side of the tracks. I don't know the right politician." You are impregnating your subconscious with these negative thoughts, and it responds accordingly. You are actually blocking your own good, thereby bringing lack, limitation, and frustration into your life. When you set up obstacles, impediments, and delays in your conscious mind, you are denying the wisdom and intelligence resident in your subconscious mind. You are actually saying in effect that your subconscious mind cannot solve your problem. This leads to mental and emotional congestion, followed by sickness and neurotic tendencies. That is what I call resistance. What you resist, persist. To realize your desire and overcome your frustration, affirm boldly several times a day, "The infinite intelligence which gave me this desire leads, guides, and reveals to me the perfect plan for the unfolding of my desire. I know the deeper wisdom of my subconscious is now responding, and what I feel and claim within is expressed in the without. There is a balance and an equilibrium. If you say, 'There is no way out,' I am lost. There is no way out of this dilemma. I am blocked. You will get no answer or response from your subconscious mind. If you want the subconscious to work for you, give it the right request and attain its cooperation. When I take my showers, I thank the almighty powers that be. Thank you for hot water. Thank you for home, for my beautiful wife, my health, my wealth, my prosperity. Thank you for washing away all negative hexes, curses, and witchcraft off my body, mind and soul and spirits, down the drain, and have Mother Earth convert it to love. I say this every day. It is always working for you. It is controlling your heartbeat this minute, and also your breathing. 8. It heals a cut on your finger, and its tendency is life word, forever seeking to take care of you and preserve you. Your subconscious has a mind of its own, but it accepts your patterns of thought and imagery. Or when you are seeking an answer to a problem, your subconscious will respond, but it expects you to come to a decision and to a true judgment in your conscious mind. You must acknowledge the answer is in your subconscious mind. However, if you say, I don't think there is any way out, I am all mixed up and confused, why don't I get an answer? You are neutralizing your prayer. Like the soldier marking time, you do not get anywhere, still the wheels of your mind. Relax, let go, and quietly affirm. My subconscious knows the answer. It is responding to me now. I give thanks because I know the infinite intelligence of my subconscious knows all things and is revealing the perfect answer to me now.
Ow.
My real conviction is now setting free the majesty and glory of my subconscious mind. I rejoice that it is so. This is the incredible power you hold within you. School never taught us this. That is why I am saying what worked for me. I wish I knew this as a kid. Your mind is a tool, and you are its master. It does take time to believe in this stuff, but in the same breath, once you decide to start working at it, you will see unbelievable stuff happen very quickly in your life. I remember working with this guy when I was a union rep. He'd come to me frustrated, saying, I say hi to the manager every day and he never says hi back. It made him feel invisible, and honestly, it really ticked him off. So I told him to keep saying good morning, but I also knew he listened to this radio show that was pretty critical of our city's politics. I suggested he take a break from the show for a few weeks and see what happens. He did, and guess what? Everything went back to normal. The manager started saying good morning once he changed his vibe. It's wild how easy it is to get stuck in a negative mindset, expecting the worst instead of the best. Patience is key. People often struggle with this because acting differently feels new, and they think change should happen overnight. By understanding the relationship between your conscious and subconscious, and by deliberately choosing thoughts of success, health, and happiness, you can steer your life in any direction you choose. Start today. Plant new seeds in the garden of your mind and watch as a beautiful new reality begins to grow. In the next video, Chapter 4, we'll touch on mental healings in ancient times Bible accounts on the use of the subconscious powers. Miracles at various shrines throughout the world. One universal healing principle, widely different theories, views of Paracelsus. Bernheim's experiments, producing a blister by suggestion, the cause of bloody stigmata. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it.